My divine, incredible Christar family, thank you so much for joining me to look at our next spiral report, our weekly report to see the energy that's coming up for the week of November 9th to November 15th. Now, we're already feeling the energy as Sunday, the 9th, is the day that Mercury is actually going into retrograde, and there's been a lot of really intense energies, especially the day before. So the 8th, November 8th, there was a lot of movement. There was a lot of energy within not only the frequency fields, but this is also going to be within the dream gates and the dream fields. So there was a lot of pulse going on. And interestingly enough, it's usually the day that I do the report. There was just so much energy moving on that day that I'm actually here doing it on the 9th as we start out the week. So I apologize for not getting it out a little bit sooner to you, but we're still going to look at the energy for this week so that we can really have the foundation for some of the big things coming. So let's go ahead and look at some of these charts as we go along, just so that we can play with some visuals and make it maybe a little bit easier to see what we have. So as we are here, it is really the beautiful energy of the Mercury retrograde starting. Now, Mercury is starting this retrograde energy in the gate 9. And this one's a really powerful energy for us to harness. This is a powerful gate for us to imbue its gifts and abilities that it has for us. So even if we look at it from the gene keys perspective, this is going to be the power of the infinitesimal. What a what a big powerful word, right? The power of the infinitesimal, just something that is really infinite, beyond, right? And within the human design, this is the gate of focus. This is going to be something that is allowing us to really hold steady a powerhouse of energy. But how do we sit in ready waitingness with it? Well, the shadow of this is inertia. So the need to constantly be in a state of movement. And remember, Mercury just went into retrograde. So this is going to be the mental plane. This is going to be more shorter term memories, things closer within our subconscious fields. And this might be stirring up a lot of things, even making it a little bit harder to focus right now. And we want to start to allow ourselves to go into what are our base practices. So what are the base practices that you go to when maybe everything's super chaotic and you're like, man, what practice do I do? What should I focus on? What is the core thing that you could sit with, that you don't even have to think about it? It is your core practice. Is it sitting and doing some rhythmic breath work? Is it sitting and chanting Om or a particular mantra? Is it doing some sort of Tai Chi moves or something that starts to move the energy systems in your body? What is it for you? This is going to be personal for you. So, really, what is it that you fall on that helps you to begin to calm the energy of the mind? Now, sometimes when looping thoughts start to come into our mind, we want to have ready-made tools that we are consciously aware of so that we're not just letting our mind run at this time. Mercury retrograde in the energy of focus is really going to take a lot of determination. That's the gift of the gate 9. What is the determination? The determination is to actually hold the ferocity of your ready stillness and waiting within energy without being like a squirrel that is following all of the thoughts or the looping patterns. Think of it within, especially this time where we are so programmed. This is something that's been really kind of pushed on our mental wiring for a while now, is everything faster, 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 faster. We want answers faster. We want food faster. We want results faster. We want everything faster. And within faster, faster just means you're moving your consciousness through something so quickly that you don't actually have a conscious awareness of those little microscopic moments in there that are beauty, that are gifts, that are the essence, within, say, the breaths. So within, we might start to go like, okay, well, if I go faster, 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 remember your consciousness in your higher self, sure, it's taking in everything, but your human consciousness cannot. Our brain is only designed to really have a set focus maybe on one thing, but it can multitask to about three things slightly efficiently. After we start to add multiple thoughts simultaneously going, the brain can't focus on them purely. So it has to take fragments of data sets of what it's taking in, and then it fills in the blanks, it fills in the rest with whatever's in your subconscious, and it kind of makes up the rest of it. So when you're going super fast, you can take a little, you can take little pieces. You can't get the whole essence of the energy as you're moving through. And so when the brain can only take little pieces of it, it fills in the blanks with whatever it makes up. You could say we're not much different than ChatGPT in that we also create hallucinations. We're mainly making up this reality in our mind because most minds are moving so quickly. They're not actually sitting within the source field. Now, again, remember the city of this was invincibility. This is really the energy of allowing ourselves to tame the small energies within so that we can start to connect to the vast energies. So it is these beautiful vibrations of recognizing that if our brain keeps mapping out the path, it's going to map out a path kind of in circles or loops. But we want to expand into spirals, into expansion, into constant movement within the cosmos. So this Mercury retrograde, as you're going to see, this is going to be something we've just started into. That's just an invitation to start to tap into. We're going to see we're still in the gate 1, moving into the gate 43. That is going to be on Monday, and we'll see that happens around closer to 5 p.m. on the West Coast time. So this could be really, really later in the evening East Coast time, or actually all the way into Wednesday, or sorry, Tuesday, if you are maybe in European time zones. So the gate 43 is really going to kind of be moving in right when we're moving in around that vibration of not only Jupiter going into retrograde, but we got the 1111 portal happening November 11th. This is a really big one. So as we get to feel this energy, that's a big vibration we're taking on. And I don't have it on here. We do have the Venus womb oil activation we are doing on Friday, but it's actually Sunday, or sorry, Saturday, that vibration, pardon me, it is actually on the Sunday, but remember it blends over. We're going in to the shift over of the energy of Venus moving into a new sign. So as we get to see this, Jupiter is going into retrograde. We're going to see Jupiter still been in that gate 62 of details. So this is also a dream gate. This one has the energy or the vibration. It is one of the portal gates. It is one of the programming gates. So if you have the gate 62 in your dream rave already, this is very much a programming gate. This is programming with sigils and symbols and details and thoughts that get into your dreams so that it kind of makes puzzles for your brain the rest of the day. And when we really look at the dream state, we want to recognize that a lot of times, what does it mean for the dream to be programming us? Well, the dream state is when we're absolutely open. There is no head center involved within there. We are shutting down cognitive abilities within. And as we dream the dream itself is constantly wanting to re engage us with the Maya or the illusion that we live in, right? The dream needs to keep us invested in the game, invested in the stories, invested in the histories, invested in the puzzles, invested in what we're doing. And it's interesting, Jupiter sitting here, and we did recently have the moon gate going through there. I do feel a real big draw to maybe start to shift our weekly reports to look a little bit more at where is the moon moving through each of the gates. The moon moves through each gene key or gate about every 10.5 hours. And as it moves through, the ones that the moon is moving through while you're awake, it's going to have an influence on you for sure, on your subconscious, things you're not paying attention to. But the moon moving through gates while you're sleeping, that is very important, because the moon itself, even above and beyond all the others, is really programming us. It is really projecting these lunar gates, lunar energies into our field. And within that, it's promoting us to kind of chew or kind of invest our attention into sometimes the dramas within our subconscious energy. And that's why there's a lot of looping. And so when the moon moves through certain particular gates, especially the energies of the gate 19, we got the energy of the gate 12 and the gate 62. These three are the primary gates within the dream rave that are portal gates, or um, really kind of ones that are looping us within things within this reality. They give us things in the dream state that we don't find in the waking state. And then we're in a constant hunger or search for that energy. It's like we miss what we get in the dream state. So all day we feel this sense of something missing in our life that we're moving or wanting, right? And each one has a little of a different vibration. I won't go too much into it in this particular conversation, but if this kind of stuff interests you, just let me know, because this is stuff we will definitely dive into within the group so that we can talk about more. Now, within this, as we look at this is important, because we're going to see that we not only have Jupiter going into retrograde, it's going to be within this gated details. So please just be mindful in your dream states, the things that are coming up for you. Jupiter is expanding inward. Retrograde means not necessarily expanding in your outer reality. Now it's going to be expanding in your inner reality. We've got Uranus that's still sitting in the gate 8, that is amplifying another gate energy within there. And then remember, we have Mercury in 9, but as it's moving into retrograde, in the gate 9 of focus, it's very quickly going to be moving into the gate 34 of power. So within this, we've had a lot of massive shifts lately. As we get to look at this, just kind of one more look at this calendar before we look at another wheel, we're going to see again, we've got Mercury retrograde that's just started. The gate 1 is about to come to completion. We're going to be moving into the gate 43 within the sun for the rest of the week, as it holds us into the 1111 stargate, as it starts to take us into the energy of Venus moving into a new sign, so that we can start to activate that energy of Libra, Venus moving into the Libra energy. And as we look at this again now, even though Pluto's not in retrograde anymore, we still have a lot of retrograde energy. Pluto kind of let go of the retrograde finally, but we've got Mercury, we've got Jupiter, we've got Uranus, we've got Chiron, we've got Saturn, and we've got Neptune, all in retrograde right now. That this happens regularly towards this time of the year. I like to call it the retrograde season, that leads us into the galactic alignment season, which is where they slowly, a lot of them will start to let go. Some of the ones that have been going for a while, like Neptune and Saturn, are going to slowly start to let go as time goes. But we're at what I like to think of as the pinnacle, of the peak of the retrograde energy. All of this inward focusing energy right now. Well, if it's being amplified by things within our consciousness field that have us spinning and looping, we want to be very, very mindful and careful and go more into silence practices. Now, the gate 43 is going to be really good for this, because Interestingly, the gate 43 is the energy of insight within, say, the human design, or breakthrough within the Gene Keys perspective. The breakthrough energy is kind of the pinnacle of what it brings us. And we'll see within there at its shadow is the energy of deafness, almost kind of toning out things. Now, deafness can be good in the sense that it can help you block out things that you don't actually want to ingest into your system or your consciousness. But deafness can also be something that hinders us if we get so locked on a thought that that's all there is, that we are holding on to, that we don't let any new movement in. We can start to find ourselves becoming rather dogmatic or stuck within an energy form, not letting new energy, not letting new information, not letting new consciousness into our field. Because the gift of this is insight. This is going to be something that's inspiring us to where the city of it is epiphany, bringing us into the state of truly where can we start to get these massive downloads of wisdom and creation so that these beautiful energies allow us to have these epiphanies. These epiphanies are not for us. We want to recognize and remember that the more we have these kind of ahas and experiences, how are you being in service and sharing these with others? We have to remember that in this reality that we're in, yes, all ascension is an individual process, yet at the same time, all of our energy of who we are is still highly connected to how we are shareable waves. How are we being of service? How are we recognizing that we're part of a greater collective, a greater whole? How are we remembering that we are part of this unity field, omni consciousness, right? So these are things to think of. These are things just to keep in mind for this week. As we get to look, I'm just going to quickly go through just this week as we get to see the energy here. One key thing is to recognize, yes, Mercury moving into that energy, the gate 9. Mercury's going into retrograde in Scorpio energy. So this is, it's important for us to recognize we've got Mars in Scorpio, we've got Mercury in Scorpio energy. These are really going to be important. So let's look at this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So as we get to see this vibration as we move through the week, we're going to recognize that Mars, Mercury, still holding the Scorpio, but it's going kind of towards the end. And as you play within this, just to recognize that all of this is for you to play with. It's for you to feel the energy of the rays within. What do you want to create within your life, your experience? What do you want to master within yourself as far as an awareness in your consciousness field of where you exist, where you are living? What is this reality that you are in? Right? This is all again an individuated process. Even though we are part of a collective, even though we are part of an omni consciousness field, even though at our highest states of consciousness we become oneness again, yes. But in this field, in this frequency set, morphogenetic frequency patterns that we're existing in, our consciousness is fractalized into an individuation, like a drop from an ocean. We are a drop, and we are remembering back to the ocean that we have come from so that we can, in some ways, how does a drop get back to the ocean? Generally through a very beautiful process of evaporation, of becoming formless to move and merge back within that field. So it's just a contemplation for us to think about at this time. As we look at this week, just please know there is a lot of movement this week. We are in a state of so much retrograde energy. The Mercury, again, is one I think we're all very familiar with. It happens generally 3 to 4 times a year, anyways. And within this, as we look at some of the other things that are moving, like Venus getting ready to move into Libra, we want to allow ourselves to maybe take this time with this 1111 Stargate, this 1111 portal time to look at Where is a portal inward, an individuated energy, rather than looking out to the planet, what is happening in the world, what is happening with people, what is happening with space, what is happening with all of these things. It's more to recognize that the true terrain is the inner terrain and what is happening inside of you. So much love. I hope you find this report helpful for this next week. And we will continue to play. We will continue to look at what is influencing us so that we can continue to become sovereign, to become more masterful of allowing the energies to pass through us, the rays, the frequencies, the vibrations, all of these things that are kind of moving all around us. We take what we choose and we let the rest pass through. That is the true mastery. With so much love, I will see you at our next report.